The Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders says the myriad of problems facing declarants are mostly due to the lack of proper mapping of the process flow, inadequate training of declarants, and unresolved systemic issues. GIF says demurrage and rent payments have become the norm with no respite in sight. According to GIF, the state will have to wait a while to get the fundamentals right before implementing the new port management system, Unipass, since an attempt to introduce this in busier ports like KIA and Tema would be disastrous. President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Edward Akron, joins me via Zoom now with more on this particular development. Good evening, sir. Welcome to Business Live.
Good, thank you for having me.
Yes, so we're witnessing the rollout of Unipass in Tema Port tomorrow. You've been fighting this for some time now. You recently held a ground report. What did you find out?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to confirm again and again that it's not like we're fighting, whatever the government policy is. All we're asking is if it has to be done, it has to be done well. So basically, we've been going on the ground also to find out, because we have our members all over the districts and, at the entry points where customs, do business, and we needed to make sure that they're comfortable. So when they started at the frontiers, so specifically we're talking a Lubo, Aga, Flao, we realized we were having issues. So there was some kind of a semi-parallel run. So they were still using the GCNet and the pass system as it stands. Now, but Takrady was a major event, because then that is the first time you have the actual issue of having, manifest loaded onto the system and, declarations being done. And so I had to go to Takrady, to do, an actual survey on the ground to, assess the situation and then find out for ourselves what this would mean if, the rollover goes on tomorrow. And I must report that the situation in Takrady is a bit dire, because there are several delays. In which I have put in a report. There's several technical stuff. I don't know how I can break all of this down. But then,
okay.
If this is not resolved, then we're bound to see the same thing starting tomorrow in Tema and at the airport.
Now, government has been firm with the rollout of this particular policy, saying that for now, it can run concurrently with the existing policies until, a final takeover. Does it still pose a problem to your members?
Well, therein lies my problem. I'm saying that because we talked about inadequacy of the training, I can tell you for a fact, if this starts tomorrow morning, I wouldn't know where to start. That is another matter. So I don't see how my members can even come to me asking me how to resolve their problems. We're told about, them having a call center, help desk, and how are you going to resolve the issues of the myriad of members that we have at the same time when these problems are, coming up tomorrow? So I'm saying, for now, we've done what we have to do. We've said what we have to say. If that does not happen, if we get into this tomorrow without any respite, then we'll see what happens from there.
Now, what about the payment of revenue to the GRA? Is this still, or would it be a problem at this time when it rolls out tomorrow?
No, so the reason is, with what we do, any delays is a delay. Any delay is a delay in revenue. Okay, because if the declaration hasn't gone through, we haven't gone through the whole process. First of all, there has to be all of the pre-arrival. What we've been told, we know now is that the system is going to subsume everything. So all the pre-arrival and post-arrival declarations, everything is going to be done in this one system, okay? So if I haven't gotten, say, valuation yet, which is a pre-arrival issue, if I haven't gotten the valuation on time, how do I pay the duties? The duty is not going to happen. So the revenue is going to, the earlier it comes, the earlier I get to pay. If not, then we're all going to be stuck. Revenue is going to be stuck. There are going to be delays. This leads into demurrage, state rent, terminal rent and all that, which is what we've been trying to avoid all this.
Right. So let's end it here and wait till tomorrow. We'll certainly come back to you for the follow-up on that. Thank you very much. Edward Akron is the president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF. Now, the International Air Transport Association, IATA, is projecting $6 billion loss of passenger revenues in 2020 for African airlines owing to COVID-19 effects. It also estimates job loss in the aviation sector and related industries at about $1.3 billion. Freelance journalist Kamal Dini Tagba joins us from Lome, Togo, for more updates on this particular report. Kamal, all right, so I hear we lost Kamal Dini there via Zoom. Now, the coronavirus pandemic has affected the world in an unprecedented way, and Africa is not left out, with the continent's leaders still deliberating the way forward for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement set to commence in July this year, while calls have been made for implementation of the CFTA to be postponed. Afro Champions Initiative, a set of innovative public-private partnership on the success of trading agreement, is calling on African heads of state to rather use COVID-19 as a catalyst to roll out the initiative. Chief Strategist of Afro Champions, Michael Koto, has been speaking with my colleague, Ishra Ado.
The COVID-19 pandemic is really disrupting preparedness of the continent towards the July 2020 expected start of trading. And I'll give you a couple of ways in which it is disrupting the AFCFTA preparedness already. So the first one is that the Accra Secretariat of the AFCFTA was supposed to have opened in March. That had to be postponed because of the pandemic. So the Secretariat is currently operating.
All right, so I'm told we have Kamal Dini Tagba on the line from Lome via Zoom, of course, to tell us more about this latest update report on the International Air Transport Association, IATA. Good afternoon, Kamal. Welcome to Business Line.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emmanuel, for having me today again.
All right, so what exactly is the report saying, and for which it is quite worrying for African airlines?
Yeah, last week the IATA met during a meeting, and they discussed the situation regarding the effect of coronavirus on business around the world, especially the aviation industry. And the vice president of the organization in charge of Africa and the Middle East has painted a very black picture of the situation in Africa and the Middle East region. He's saying basically that, as you know, many countries, several countries around the world, including African countries and Middle East countries, have grounded the passenger jets because of the effects. For that reason, he's saying that the number of passengers has completely dropped. Millions of people have not been able to travel anymore, which has completely affected the economy of various countries. This is estimated about some $6 billion, and which is also going to cause some job losses as well, which is also estimated about $3.1 billion in Africa. And we have some figures which are very alarming. We have to say that, for example, Ghana is going to lose 2.8 million, has lost 2.8 million passengers so far, and which has also caused around 248,000 jobs, which will cost the Ghanaian economy $1.6 billion as a loss, which is huge a lot. We also see the case of Ethiopia, which is the largest airline in Africa, which is also affected. Ethiopia is expected to lose 2.5 million passengers, about 500,000.
All right. So, Kamal, these are worrying figures, but did the report, highlight on the way to bounce back after this pandemic?
Yeah, sure. The organization says the governments have to intervene directly into the passenger jets, because the governments also have to inject money. As you know, some countries like the United States and several countries around the world have.
Thank you very much. Kamal Dini Tagba is a freelance journalist. He joined me via Zoom from Lome, Togo.